What is up, guys? Summer4 here, coming at you with another Littlewargame video, and I have some big news to announce. Version 3.4 has come out. This is 3.41, which is just a minor bug patch that Jibs just did like 2 seconds ago. But anyway, there's some pretty huge changes in this patch, so I want to do a video kind of going over all the major changes that have been released. So let's just read through this. First one is the bird, which has been increased. The build time has been increased from 25 seconds to 60 seconds, increased cost from 50 gold to 85 gold. And the big one is that birds don't require a fortress anymore. This is basically a move to make birds actually buildable, because previously birds on fortress tech, there's absolutely no reason to get them. And just slightly balanced to make them a little harder to get. 85 gold early game is, can be a little bit of too much in 60 seconds. But basically you won't have the situation anymore where you can hide on 2 bases and get like any tech like catapult drops or dragons or whatever behind there, and your opponent's completely in the dark about it. And this is going to make beast versus beast a little less guesswork, because you can actually scout the enemy fortress timing. And you can also scout things like if there's catapult drops incoming, or there's it's just a random church in their enemy base. Only thing I'm a little worried about is it might make scouting too easy. Like it's just so easy just to build a bird, fly it into their base. Very hard to deny that. But in general, I think this is a good change, because people have been asking for a long time for a way to scout like on 2 bases once it gets past early game. So a nice little change there. A few kind of just UI things. This one's nice. When a player gets kicked from a lobby, he cannot rejoin for 10 seconds. So that means that you can't just have people that like just troll and constantly rejoin lobbies, even if you don't want them in or they're lagging or whatever. You get a nice little 10-second window to actually start the game without them popping in again. Warning messages now display when a host tries to start a game and all players are on the same team. That's good, because you have so many team games where games start and just everyone's on the same team and you have to rehost. So that's a nice little change there. I don't even know about this. I didn't know that you couldn't change the cancel hotkey. Now you can. Great. It's possible to kick players, and there's a bug that you couldn't kick people. This is kind of a fun one. Buildings now play a sound when selecting them. So there's just a little audio thing whenever you select a building. That's pretty cool. Fortresses appear as castle in some situations. Another little bug. Not sure what this does, but whatever. New mage skin, pretty sweet. Might have to get my hands on that one. New map theme, that's cool. We have now like 3 map types. Desert was added a while back, and now we've got graveyard, which I assume is gonna be like I don't know, maybe gray rocks, something like that. Haven't seen this skin yet. Okay, so this is the huge change that is like the big deal. These 2 changes here. Houses reduced cost from 200 gold to 125, and the cost of all fighting units is increased by 60%. Now, important to note, I checked this. Workers are still at 50 gold. So if you know your Littlewargame history, you'll know that it used to be houses were at 100 gold and workers cost 60 gold. So this is a small. It's kind of like it's not 100% revised back to how it was before, but it's pretty close. Houses now cost 125 instead of 200 gold. It makes huge difference in the game. It's gonna make it so that units are not as supply heavy; they're more gold heavy. And that means games won't just drag on until people run out of gold, basically. Because it used to be you could just basically get enough production to like remax almost instantly, and basically you just kept fighting until one guy was more cost efficient and either took more gold based on the map and then won by constricting the enemy's economy, or they both just ran out of gold and one guy had more units because he was more cost efficient. This is going to try to help to alleviate that problem, and also make early game fighting a little easier, because early game builds were just much weaker to expansion builds because of the way the castles were 350 gold and houses were 200. So you didn't really risk. You only were risking 150 gold to make that castle instead of the house. And in general, it was usually the better option to just go for as economic as possible in opening. Things like 2 dens were just basically dead with this patch. So now that it's back, I think we're going to see more aggressive plays, and you're going to have to be a little safer getting that expansion up. So I kind of like that change. This is a change that people have been asking for a long time, and I'm glad it's finally here. So that should be super fun. Werewolf reduced armor from 4 back down to 3. This got buffed like a couple patches ago. Everyone was like, why did this get buffed? Werewolves were already pretty decent, and they were actually, werewolves with 4 armor were like just a little bit OP, to be honest. You couldn't counter them with Rax units. You really had to have like catapults to counter them. So now your archers might actually be able to do a little bit of damage to werewolves. So I like this change a lot. I hope it balances beast versus Rax out a little bit more. Tower upgrade, reduced bonus armor from 3 to 2, reduced bonus damage from 3 to 2. I like this change. Towers, I feel like late game were way too strong. Especially since if you think about it in Littlewargame, you only have like 100 supply, right? So you actually can't build that many units. And towers costing 0 supply, you could get into situations where both sides are maxed out. It was obviously very easy to max out on cheap gold cost units once you have your houses up, and you just camp the map with towers everywhere. And especially like in Dragon versus Dragon, it just dragged the game on horribly. So I definitely think towers needed a nerf, and this nerf does it. I honestly think I would almost go as far as say we don't even need the tower upgrade in the game, because I feel like it was first implemented because players felt that there needed to be a way to counter dragons, killing everything in your mineral line. But upgrade towers don't really, because by the time you get the tower upgrade, I feel like you're gonna have good archer counts and you can have ballistays. I feel like ballistays do a better job countering dragons. So I'm not sure if I feel like the tower upgrade is even good at all, because I feel like towers are already decent enough. But anyway, that may not be quite correct. But this is definitely a good step in the right direction. I love that change. Skeletons reduce lifespan from 50 to 35 seconds. I know skeletons have been steadily receiving nerfs. I haven't played with skeletons or used skeletons in a long time. I don't know if they're still too strong. But in general, I don't think anyone likes the skeleton ability too much. I'd rather see the fireball ability used more. I feel like that's where mages are really exciting, is with the fireball ability. So I don't mind this change at all. This one's kind of interesting. Invisibility reduced duration from 150 to 60 seconds, and the invisibility spell also now grants +2 damage. I like that they're reducing the duration, because I felt like before the 150 seconds was a little too ridiculous. Like, you make one mistake and you're against invisibility and it just lasts forever. You like never stops. So I like it that it's a much less duration. I feel like, and this is like almost just like a damage. This is like just, it makes it less of like, oh, I'm just invisible forever, and more of like this is a buff you just be throwing around more freely because you get the damage buff. So you don't have to think just so much about like being invisible. You can also just use it even if the enemy has invisibility, because you'll get a damage buff. So it makes it, I think, more generally useful, like in many game situations, instead of just being like a cheesy, oh, does he not have any upgraded towers, or does he not have dropships? Wow, let me quickly kill some workers with the invisibility spell. And honestly, invisibility, it's I don't think it's anyone's favorite spell either, like skeletons. I like, my favorite use of invisibility is with werewolves in Beast vs. Rax, and this is going to be still very viable, I think, and in fact better to be using it in straight up combat. And I think we can also might see it used more on things like dragons and maybe even like soldiers and catapult type things, just to get that +2 damage buff. So nice change overall. All this stuff, if you're into editing and modding, I'm sure there's some good stuff that JBS has added here. So yeah, that's sweet. Overall, I'm really happy with this patch. I think it's something that the community has been asking for a long time, a lot of these changes, and now we got them. So that's really awesome. Just really quickly, looks like, oh, version 3.4 was just a couple quick bug fixes, so we won't worry about that. But anyway, that seems really cool. I look forward to playing some ladder games, playing out, seeing how these changes affect the game. I'm pretty excited actually to see if how it's gonna do. Hopefully, bring some players back to the game. And yeah, see you guys out there. Let's go play some Little War Game. And don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you later.